Okay, so Dinesh D'Souza is going to explain the risks of Islam. Let's get right into it.
So, the most formidable part of it in America is the Islam that travels on the passport of our most fundamental liberties. And this is an Islam that is a threat not just in the blue states, but equally in the red. Why? Because in the blue states, Islam might be able to find allies on the left. And that itself is an interesting topic because the Islamic faction, the green faction with the red faction, is a equally deep-rooted hostility to America and to the West.
Dinesh D'Souza warning to America about Islam.
Islam was defeated by the West, and the last Islamic empire was carved into pieces, the Ottoman Empire, right about the time of World War I. And right about that time, the most important organization of Islamic revival, the Muslim Brotherhood, was founded in Egypt, I believe 1928. And its goal, let's get all that back. Let's get it back. But we have to get it back by creating a new type of war and a new type of battlefield, and we need new strategies and new tactics. And there might be a violent or militant edge which gives the whole thing a certain type of warrior aspect. But the most formidable part of it is not that. So the most formidable part of it, I think, in America is the Islam that travels on the passport of our most fundamental liberties. And this is an Islam that is a threat not just in the blue states, but equally in the red. Why? Because in the blue states, Islam might be able to find allies on the left. And that itself is an interesting topic because what unites the Islamic faction, the green faction, with the red faction is a equally deep-rooted hostility to America and to the West. We have unfortunately cultivated an antagonism to our civilization from within. I don't know of any other civilization that has done this to a comparable degree. But we have people in America who want death to America. And by death to America, I mean not America the country or America the land, death to the traditional ideals of America, death to the America of the founding. They hate the founding. They've been taught to hate it. And this has nothing to do with Islam, and this has been going on in America since the progressive movement, which is over 100 years old. It came to mainstream influence in the 1960s, and it is death to the founding, death to America, burn the American flag. And then they burned the American flag in Iran. So we understand how these factions come together. Despite the fact that they don't agree on their end goal, they fully agree on the intermediate goal and the intermediate enemy to be overcome before they can then fight it out for the end goal. So that's something we're somewhat familiar with. But what we're not familiar with is a mosque whom we think of as somewhat similar to a synagogue or a church where people go to do services. And we don't think of a mosque as like a fort or a mosque as like a military command center or a mosque as an educational institution comparable to a school or a university. But those are the roles that mosques have played. This is not some modern-day invention. Mosques have played that role for thousands of years. I mean, going back to the beginning of Islam itself. The mosque is the center of Islamic, not just theological, political, and often military action as well. So imagine a group, an Islamic group in Texas that comes to Texas and says, and this is an invented example, but it's not far off from an actual one, we want to buy 1,000 acres in Texas, and we want to build the largest mosque in the world. And adjacent to it, we want to build a giant madrasa, a school of Islamic education for Muslim boys in which they will be instructed in the Quran and in the principles of Sharia law and in Islamic jurisprudence, to which the red state representatives, state senators, local officials are like, what? To which the Muslims will then reply, wait a minute, we're buying this land with private money. You believe in free enterprise, don't you? And we're starting a school. You believe in private education, don't you? In fact, doesn't Texas have a voucher program? Shouldn't we be eligible for that the same as everybody else? And yeah, we intend to have public calls to prayer. You have church bells that seem to toll every now and then. And what is, in principle, the difference between these two, except maybe noise ordinances? In other words, we are doing nothing more than deploying a movement using your principles, your Bill of Rights. We didn't write it, you wrote it. And however, to an end goal that, if achieved, would subvert all those principles and all those liberties completely. Now, this, I would argue, is something that is a little new for us to deal with. Because what do? Do we say, all right, well, we have to rewrite the Constitution. We have to take out those liberties, or at least we need to put important exceptions to them. Yes, there's religious freedom, but not if you want to have a caliphate. Yes, we have freedom of religion, but Islam is not a religion. So I think in a fresh way, we are grappling with these kinds of issues. The reason that we don't have more of a debate about what the problem is and what to do about it is that a lot of our public rhetoric, and on the right, is very often about the problem rather than showing you the problem. This is what I mean. If I were to tell you, I grew up in India in a middle-class family in the 60s and 70s, and I lived in a home and I had this and that, you would know from me about it. But if I were to show you a set of home videos of India in the 60s and 70s, and I go, hey, that's me right there, and that's my house, and those are the vendors who would come on the street, and that's the guy who brought monkeys with him, and so on, you would be able to see it and experience it in a different way than if I told you about it. So it's the difference between knowledge about a thing and knowledge of a thing. And this is the true power of film, as opposed to a book. Because a book is ultimately a description. It is about something, and to some degree it makes you construct that thing in your mind, in your imagination. The real power of film today, and I will tell you that with the new technologies, including, by the way, AI, you can bring things not just in the present, but in the past. I look at some of the things we're doing now in AI, and I'm thinking, for example, even about scenes from early Islam, or scenes for a different project from the Bible. And in the past, if you wanted a scene from the Bible, well, you'd basically have to take a clip from like Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments, because you couldn't possibly afford to shoot that. You'd need thousands of extras. But today you can create far more believable content inexpensively with great emotional power. So if you combine that, the visual, with the ideas, then you're able to bring home to America, to the ordinary American who these days seems more to be walking around in a kind of slumber than ever before. You need a wake-up call. And so this film we're doing is that. It is showing you in an undeniable way, this is Islam in America. Not it's coming, but it's here. And not only is it here, but you don't know what to do about it. And there needs to be an understanding of the nature of the problem and also how it can be resisted.
Great. We have a brand new listing in the heart of Miami, minutes from the airport, minutes from all of the shopping and entertainment you need. It is a listing for lease, $8,000 a month. The address, as you can see here, is 1701 Northwest 19th, single family home, 7 beds, 3 baths, just under 3,000 square feet. You can use it as office space, residential space. Cats and dogs are, of course, okay. No HOA. It is co-listed with my buddy Yosef Madar and I. And if you have any additional info, you can follow me at Rafi the Realtor. Send me a DM. If you happen to already have my phone number, you can shoot me a call, text message. All my contact info is on Instagram. If you are looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in South Florida, be sure to get in contact with me. And that wraps up today's video. You can support the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. In the description, there is also a Zelle option. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and for your continued support. Until next time, peace. We have a brand new listing in the heart of Miami, minutes from the airport, minutes from all of the shopping and entertainment you need. It is a listing for lease, $8,000 a month. The address, as you can see here, is 1701 Northwest 19th, single family home, 7 beds, 3 baths, just under 3,000 square feet. You can use it as office space, residential space. Cats and dogs are, of course, okay. No HOA. It is co-listed with my buddy Yosef Madar and I. And if you have any additional info, you can follow me at Rafi the Realtor. Send me a DM. If you happen to already have my phone number, you can shoot me a call, text message. All my contact info is on Instagram. If you are looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in South Florida, be sure to get in contact with me. And that wraps up today's video. You can support the channel by going to the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment or description. In the description, there is also a Zelle option. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and for your continued support. Until next time, peace.